Hello and welcome to Insider Studios. This is Sixers Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Amy Fiddle and Mark Jackson. And this one, we knew was going to be a frenetic pace. At one point, we thought the Heat would score 140. They didn't get too far, 127. But this one was really decided by the runs. And the NBA tends to be a game of runs. We saw the Sixers go on a couple. They had a 14-0 run in the first half, and then you saw a 10-4 run to get them back in it. But really, when you're looking at this one, the Sixers just didn't have enough horses. No VJ Edgecombe, obviously no Joel Embiid, no Kelly Oubre, and it hurt them.
It really did, Amy. I thought this Heat, they live and die by this pace,
Yeah.
Amy. And they had so many people. They had over 40-something points from the bench, the Miami Heat. And I thought, when you talk about the game of runs, I truly believe the 76ers was keeping up with the first half. But when that second half, the more we kept going deep into the game, we got in that deep water. 76ers couldn't swim as well.
Yeah, they just really couldn't really get over that hump. They did cut it to just 2, and that is the subject of our Colonial Nissan game changer. This one was decided in the fourth quarter, where the Sixers are usually quite strong. They actually finished okay in the third quarter, unusual, but it's a 2-point game, you can see, with just under 8.5 minutes to go, and that's when the Heat took over. They are a very good shooting team. We know that. Everybody shoots threes for them, and when you're looking at it, they shot about 35%, but the volume with which they shoot, overall, they shot 50% from the field.
Absolutely, Amy. But let's just mostly the point. Most of the points came from within the paint.
Yep.
Vasquez, Ware, these guys was wearing this down. Watch this. You got to be confident and shoot all the ball.
Yeah, you
to
got to
get
shoot
this,
that, Justin.
tougher shot. I think you got to stay with it and shoot what you're comfortable with. Don't let the other team dictate your pass.
So that was a miss from Justin Edwards, and then right back to there. That's an easy bucket in the transition. So you're going to see, to your point, the points in the paint, 72 points in the paint for the Heat to just 52 for the Sixers. 20-point differential in that, as you're going to see a three-pointer. But watch
Look at that.
right there. Gets the rebound, gets the offensive board, and they go right back in wide open. Jaime Jaquez is not going to miss from that point.
That's fatigue, Amy. That's nothing but miscommunication, and sometimes that happens as you get late, you get tired, where you're not communicating as well. This Miami Heat team, depending on who's in the lineup, they want to play the game a certain way, and they're not deviating from it. When they take one person out, they put another person in, they're going to play the exact same way. But pace is their friend.
Yeah, also to that point, fast break points, 26 to just 15 for the Sixers. And Sixers always have some good fast break points too, but a lot of those are going to be dictated by the pace and the way that the Heat play. They're able to just get up and down that court. Offensive rebounds. I mean, Kel'el Ware absolutely crashed the boards. He had 16 rebounds, 8 of them offensive. That's a huge number. And all those second chance points, especially in the paint, where the Sixers doubled up, or the Heat, doubled up the Sixers by 20 in points in the paint. That's a remarkable number. It's not even close.
That's a lot of buckets in the paint. And then when you take into account how they were very deliberate. They see who was the small guard on, back him down, get in the paint. And they did it over and over. And then when you brought help, they was able to kick out for Miami Heat to shoot over 34% from three. They got hot as well.
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about Quentin Grimes being a candidate for Sixth Man of the Year, and he should be, because he's always closing games and he finishes so strong. But one of the front runners for that award is Jaime Jaquez for the Heat, and you can see why. Talk about stuff in the stat sheet here. 10 of 12, that's 83%, 22 points, 7 assists, couple of rebounds. I mean, this guy really does do a lot for them, and he is always pushing the pace. For a guy his size, you wouldn't expect it perhaps, but he really fits right in with the way that they want to run their offense.
Absolutely. And he's a promise. He's a tweener to me. Is he a guard? Right? Is he a forward? What is he?
With 7 assists.
But he's so crafty and savvy with how he plays the game. He's a mismatch problem for people. Look at this. Ball skills. Look at this. He's aggressive. He's a Miami Heat type of player.
Yeah, absolutely. A guy who was taken in the first round, but you could have told me he was drafted late second round, and just because he was with the Heat, you knew he was going to be able to turn into something. 6'6", to your point, as a tweener. They list him as a forward, but he certainly plays guard type style. 7 assists, no turns. This is a guy that is able to really get to the rack, but also find his teammates and get everybody involved.
Absolutely. He's a complete player, Amy, and he plays kind of like an old-fashioned game. I'm going to use my size, my craftiness to do things very deliberate, not going to be too fancy, but his ability to be a bigger guy on him, he does have good ball skills to blow by people.
I said he had no turnovers. He had 4. I want to make sure I get that out there. He had 4 turnovers, but he also had 22 points and shot 83% and had 7 assists. So a pretty good day all in all. Let's check in now with Nick Nurse after this one.
I guess, what was the, big challenge down low with the Kel'el Ware today?
The biggest challenge was, I think he really got going when we got into our rotations for Drum being out, and his size was just a little too much for our other guys tonight with what we had out there. So then we tried to do as much as we could of matching Drum with his minutes. Right, but again, he was just a little too long and bouncy down there for us for most of the game. Yeah.
It seemed like Watford had been struggling a little bit heading into this game, and this was the best he's played in a while. I guess what was working for him particularly? It seemed like in the second half he gave you guys a pretty good lift. Yeah,
I thought he played with just a lot of physicality and strength with the ball. I mean, he was making some hard drives to the basket, taking the hits and keeping his line and all that stuff, and getting to the rim and finishing some of those as well. He was good. He did a little bit of everything tonight, and I think it probably was his second best game of the year for sure.
You mentioned Jared before the game as far as getting opportunities today. Just what did you see out of him? It seemed like that was obviously kind of most in rhythm. Maybe he's looked to.
He certainly. I think the biggest thing is the three balls for me. I keep saying that, but we do need that production from him, and he found some of those as well. And I think it's great that he gets up to 25. I mean, especially with VJ not playing, we definitely needed to fill those minutes, and I think between Jared and Watford, those guys filled those up pretty good.
How are you managing some of the revolving door stuff in your lineup with guys in and out, and just trying to craft lineups and craft stuff around that kind of nightly?
Yeah, I mean, just the best we can. We plug in and do what we think we need to do. Start who we need to, who's next in line, try to figure out what the matchups look like, who we're playing, all that kind of stuff, and try to make some decisions at work. Some of them do, some of them don't, obviously, right? There's a lot of thought and lots of decisions go in there. We're not going to get them all right. We know that, and we just try to keep discussing it and keep, going with what we think's going to work. And if it doesn't work, we try to change it.
Yeah. You started started the second half with Paul on the bench. I guess just what was the line of thinking there?
The biggest line of thinking was we liked the way he matched up with Jaquez in the first half. He was we were trying to send some doubles towards Jaquez in the first half, and we couldn't quite get to him. He was just kind of bullying his way to the front of the rim. But then when Paul got in, he kind of held him up a few times and stopped him a little bit. And that was going to be what we're going to try to do. And then we just got off to a really bad start. I think we missed 3 layups to start the half. And they came down obviously and hit some transition on some of those. So we had to go back and get him in there a little earlier than we wanted to. But I mean, I think he only had 8 minutes left in the second half too. So there was some of that to take into consideration. Yeah.
It looked like Tyrese flexed his shoulder a little bit early in the game, and then he left when he subbed out for the final time. He left the locker room early. Did he express anything to you about that shoulder?
Not yet. I saw that too early in the game. He was rubbing his shoulder and obviously must have taken a hit on it. Haven't got any report. Obviously they checked him out halftime, all that stuff, and he obviously played through it. But we'll see what they give us here in a little bit.
Little update on Tyrese Maxey's shoulder, because he sat for a bit in that second half and you wondered what was going on. Maybe he'd bumped his shoulder. They cleared him. He did end up playing a little over 36 minutes for 27 points. You heard a lot of chatter about Kel'el Ware, who we were just talking about, and tremendous effort from him. And really just the way that the Heat play. We're going to talk about that a little bit more, but we do have a couple of updates, and you heard from there Paul George clearly on that 20 minutes restriction because he only had 11 at the half. And you heard Nick Nurse say he only had about 8 to go. So that's less than what we had the last time for PG.
Exactly. That was less than I anticipated. Yeah. I thought with every week and every game, he would surely get more. This point, he didn't, because I thought he wasn't able to really get in the flow in the second half.
Agreed.
I thought he was on sparingly, and I thought those minutes didn't align him to put minutes together to really get going and sweat-wise.
Yeah, you had Trendon Watford coming out. You heard Paul Hudrick ask that question. Trendon Watford coming out to start the second half in that one over Paul George. We'll talk a little bit more about that and the big men in this game coming up here on Sixers, working his way back from those injuries, last year's knee injury, and then, of course, right before the season started, the thumb injury. Pretty good day for him. One of his better games, certainly this season, but starting to look a little bit more like himself. 5 of 11, made 3 of 4 from 3 for 15 points, Mark. What'd you make of McCain?
I thought he was in rhythm early. I mean, he got in the game. He was he's aggressive. There's no doubt about it. He's looking to score. He's looking to shoot the ball. He's not coming in trying to fit in. He's trying to be in. So I thought he did a good job of being available and putting in work.
Yeah, we had mentioned in the pregame show, Jared McCain's minutes restriction was lifted a little bit. So we saw him about 20 minutes before that, and he was over a little over 25 minutes in this one. Did you make anything of him not being in there a little bit later? Did that surprise you?
I thought the Sixers trying to play catch up. And defensively, I thought they had what they felt as though was their best defensive unit on the floor to try to get stops. And the way Miami was giving them the business down low, I think is very, if you go back and watch the tape, every time McCain was guarding Vasquez, which ironically happened a lot, he took him right to the paint, shot that little floater. So I think the Sixers were aware of that, was just trying to see if we go with a bigger, more defensive-minded team.
Yeah, Jared McCain on Jaime Jaquez is not going to be good. Jaime Jaquez is every bit of 6'6", and Jared McCain, though taller than me, is not 6'6" in that one. But the Heat, the way they operate, to Mark's point, is just so unusual for what we've seen from them. And if you're watching the pregame show, and of course you should watch the pregame show, you can see it. We talked to you about how they started keeping pace stats back in the 96-97 season. It's the fastest pace anybody's played since they started keeping those stats. But I would venture to say it's probably ever, because it's not like it was the paciest game back before the 90s. But you can see the way they operate. No one really hangs out in the paint. They clear out so they can either, get the rebound and run, or they can drive straight through. You can see no one really hangs out there.
Look at this, Amy. Look how they don't jog the ball up the floor. People say they want to run because they're going to play the fast pace, but watch on makes and misses the way Miami pushes the ball. Look at everyone out. Look at the Sixers jerseys behind them, include McCain.
Yep.
And they rotate the ball, and they're looking to get the quick shot. If you open, he's saying shoot it.
Even after a make. So Justin Edwards drives in, and watch Justin Edwards' face, because he's like, oh, wait, whoa. I got to get back. Yeah. Because he knows the Heat are already back in position.
Coming right up your back, Amy. Look at this.
Pass.
And that's exactly what they did. Bam. We talked about earlier pregame about him expanding his game to do things like this, and he's making himself more viable to this team.
Yes, he is. It was a frenetic pace. Unfortunately, the Sixers just didn't have enough as they fall by 10 in this one. But Tyrese Maxey, it was a little bit of an up and down. We talked a little bit about the shoulder. We're going to show you his day, because he didn't have 54, but it's still a very good game.